All right, guys. So as you know, our most recent poll was a question on gag application preference before or after the restraints. So we're gonna look through the comments here and see some of the things you guys had to say about this. I thought this was an interesting poll with some interesting results. So we're going to start off with an account called For the Mineralization of the Enzyme. That is a weird account name. So this person likes to tape after because when they're when they're taped after, I don't hear the oomph as much. So I choose before because you can hear the oomph. Okay, struggling before. That's interesting. That's see, I didn't vote in this poll myself. Maybe I'll speak about my own thoughts after here. We move down here to Wendy Smith. Why is it always the woman who gets tied up and gagged? I'd love to see a good kidnapping scene where the woman gets to tie up the man and gag him for a change. Okay, well, I mean, there are quite a few of these scenes. We ran a guy-themed week here in 2017. I'm not sure which episodes those are. Maybe episode 190, 191 to 195, maybe. I want to say, or 185 to 1 or 186 to 190. I'm not sure which one, but we have some scenes with guys. I mean, it's not really what we do here. This person, the Frizzled Fowl, says both have a time and place. Spaghetti Sunday. Grab her and start with a quick gag to make it harder to resist the capture and so she can't cry out for help. After she's tied up, they can always fix her gag if necessary. Okay. Not sure how many times we've actually seen that. Probably there's a few scenes like that. And we have another Wendy Smith, but it's a different account, I think. Yeah, it's a different account. Probably got to be the same person. I would say after. It's probably not easy to gag someone who is struggling and once the person's restraining you, take your time and make sure it's on properly. Well, but still move your head around. And again, I think it's important to note, this is all fiction. I seem to have to speak about this quite a lot. People trying to turn this into real life. Quite a problem, very frustrating, and I'm probably going to do another video about that soon. Someone writes, I love that. Here's the problem. YouTube changed the layout of the community polls, and now it no longer says what you picked above your comment. It used to. Now it doesn't. So I don't know what you picked unless you write it. That's what kind of sucks. I don't know why they would get rid of that, because this person wrote, I love that, and I don't know what they voted for. So next person, we got Josh here, because when they're already tied up, all they can do is squirm and move their heads and try to avoid being gagged. So I'm guessing he voted after. Scotty, I most certainly pick after because I love to see interaction between damsel and captor, as she points out for ransom demands and anything she replies to it. It's a good answer. Hans writes, both do practical and satisfaction reasons. If you do it first, they won't be able to start screaming. I'd imagine it'd be easier to deal with the limbs of a silent person, as limbs don't create nearly as much sound. And I also find it more joyful to witness them wake up and start mumbling rather than screaming. Okay, good answer. John Thurman, if you put the gag in before, she can't say no to the restraints. Oh, I think he meant to say on. If the gag on before, she can't say no to the restraints. Well, that's a great answer. Probably the best answer in this whole poll. Yeah. And we have the submissive Saladant, who's always around here. After, it helps set the tone of the scene when the animal gets to interact with her captor before being silenced. Good answer. Lego Robo Guy. After, it's always the cherry on the cake. One of our best supporters here, Wayne. Before, so you don't have to listen to them talk so much. Good answer. Livy IDK. After, just because. Spencer. before, so they can gag talk and protest, but are helpless as they get tied up. Energizing Films, one of a good supporter of ours here. I definitely prefer after because it's her last resort. Ed, before. Flavius of the Spot, another one of our best supporters. After. Jonathan, I choose after. After won this by a large margin. 82% of the vote. I'm surprised it's so clear like that because I really didn't, I don't know, I guess I really didn't think people would have that much of a preference about it, so to speak, or, really, I don't know, really, I don't know, there are different aspects, like some people said there's kind of, different things as far as both goes. Personally, I think as far as there's quite a few scenes I like that happen before, because if you put the gag on before, then you get to really see them struggle in a different way, and like trying to is it the first guy? Yeah, I choose before so you can hear the oomph, so they can actually do their sound effects and struggling. As they're being tied up. So that's definitely one thing that's unique about the scenes that happened before, like with the loser takes all scene, that I had in the picture below the poll. That's one. I mean, there's some, and it does make sense from a storytelling perspective that you would want to put that on first so that they couldn't scream for help. And then, like some people said, it is harder to put that on first when they have free limbs. In some of those scenarios, a person came from behind and grabbed their arms, so they were technically already restrained, just not with something permanent. And then there's been some scenes where a gag is just suddenly applied out of nowhere, catching someone off guard. Those are good. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just, you look at Fear. You look at Amy Brenneman's scene in Fear, which is probably like the greatest on-screen gagging ever. That's after. She can't do anything about it. And some people made those points that, if they can't do anything to stop it, then, it just adds more to their peril. So it looks good that way. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would have thought the results would have been more 50-50. Just, I don't know. I was expecting something close. I've been trying to make polls that I think are going to have close results, because we've really never had one. We've never had we've never had any poll winner get less than 57% of the vote, as far as I know so far. That's as far as I can remember off the top of my head. That's the least amount of percentage a winner got, 57. That was the ethnicity poll. So I don't know. I think it's I don't know. I hope you guys are actually voting what you want to vote for and everything, and not just seeing what's winning and then voting for that, or voting for the first option or something like that. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. As far, yeah, it's kind of, they all. I mean, most gaggings are done off screen, and that's for aesthetic reasons, because it is hard to apply a gag on a moving person, regardless, even if it's done with their cooperation in filming something. It's very difficult, and a lot of times, even if you look at Amy's scene in Fear, you can tell they've removed it and reapplied it later on in the movie multiple times, because when Wahlberg puts that on, as good as he puts it on, you can still see that there's some movement in the bottom down here, and it's coming off a little, and they had to redo it. So unless the person is sitting there fully cooperative, you can't get that look, that really good aesthetic look that all of these great scenes have. So the on-screen stuff is tough to do, and most scenes don't do that just because it's too, like I said, it's too awkward and difficult to do. But a lot of people, if some people are in this camp of it has to be on screen, it has to, even though again most scenes don't have that. But no, I think I don't know. I think it all has its place. I was just interested to see what you guys would come up with, and some of these responses were pretty funny. The winner for, I mean, the best response is if you put the gag on before she can't say no to the restraints. I mean, that's a classic response. Oh, that's. I'm not gonna lie. I started laughing when I read that. The first one's funny too. They put like a smiley face after it. They knew they were funny there. So yeah, that's what we got for these replies. This is probably the best comment replies for any poll that we've ever had yet. So it was interesting. But maybe you guys keep the good comments going on these. Maybe I'll be able to do these responses more. So that's all I got for this. So see you guys soon.